Coming to you live from the basement of an abandoned training facility where we talk about fighting, training, and events. It's the Fight Mixer Show, where you can hear about all the local and world combat sports happenings. Get ready. It's time to gear up and square up because we're going live on the Fight Mixer Show.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Fight Mixer. We are live, Mr. Dave, Matt, and we are here with UFC veteran, Better Tour veteran, Chris veteran, Ultimate Fire Season 5 participant, the mighty Rob Emerson. What's going on, brother?
What's up, guys? How are you guys? Thanks for having me.
Doing good. Doing good. And you're actually acquainted with Mr. Dave. How do you guys know each other?
The first time I met Emerson was in 2003. He fought my roommate, Javi Vasquez, in Vegas in, I think it was Tudo. I think that's the first time I met you. And then we'd known each other in the California circuit. And then we were on season 5 of The Ultimate Fighter together. So, I've known him for a little while.
Yeah, the California circuit was a pretty massive circuit as far as MMA goes, right? The kind of birthing of MMA in this part of the world was definitely in, I should say, Southern California, Arizona had a lot of them. Rage in the Cage. They actually just made a show I went to over the weekend, a Muay Thai show that they're making a comeback. But man, a lot of strong local circuits. It's crazy. That was like a whole era before MMA even blew up to what it is today, to what everyone knows as the UFC. There's like a whole age, a whole era of like the birthing of the sport. And it's kind of cool. I don't know. There's a lot of old school guys that know about it, you know what I mean? But someone's mentioned something about doing like a documentary and all that on all the local shows that were on the local circuits. That'd be kind of sweet,
Yeah, King of Cage was also. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to ask if you feel like this Gamebred's kind of taking it back to that with the lack of gloves and all that.
Fuck yeah, absolutely. I think it's for sure. It's coming full circle. The sport itself was called Vale Tudo. You know what I mean? Before it was called mixed martial arts, the sport was called Vale Tudo. It's a Portuguese phrase for no holds barred, right? Anything goes. And I'm the first American in the black belt from Marco Ruas, who literally came from that style. The style is known as Ruas Vale Tudo, and he was like the first ever UFC champ. For the guys that know who he is, and first multiple fight winner. I think he took a Royce Gracie even, but they would have these like it's where the sport originated from. So yeah, what Gamebred's doing is awesome. I think it's coming full circle, and it's different. It's a different rhythm. It's a different pace. Guys get cut a lot differently with these bare knuckles.
Oh, yeah.
Knuckles on skin. It busts guys' skin. They cut open. Guys wilt a lot faster. And I've been in hundreds of street fights. I've seen men break and wilt from getting hit. You know what I mean? Everything else goes out the window. You take a fucking fist to the teeth. You know what I mean? Or a fucking knee, a kick. You know what I mean? It changes the game. So I think there's a more dangerous element there. You know what I mean? A more and it's cool to see a promotion honor that. And there's athletes, getting behind them.
I think it's kind of silly though. Like you really think about it. So MMA, you can knee someone in the face, you can elbow someone in the face, you can kick them in the face. All of that with no padding whatsoever. The only thing there is you can punch them with gloves on. Come on, man! Like, yeah. It's silly. I can take your face and I can knee it over and over and over again. But no, you gotta wear gloves. So I mean, like,
It makes no fucking sense. It reminds me, you know what Gamebred reminds me of, Gabe and Rob, and maybe you can attest to this, but talking about Tudo, it reminds me of the old IBC, like that promotion where Jose Pele and Chuck Liddell, like those guys fought in Brazil. And, it might have taken years off of their lives and their careers, but it was such an entertaining promotion, man. It had the best fucking fighters in it. Like, do you think Gamebred's going to try to bring that back? And how are they able to navigate and get past athletic commission's radars?
That's the difference. That's the loopholes that they would have to jump through that with all the commissions and everything. Because I think the fan base is behind it. I think more so with the gloves. I think the fights actually end because I think the injuries you get with the bare knuckles, it's more superficial. It's more cuts and outer bruising, right? With the gloves, you're actually taking more thuds, more damage, just like you do with the bigger boxing glove. So I think as far and internal brain damage that's the biggest thing we're trying to prevent. That's what you want. That's what has a lifespan. So it's brain health. You know what I mean? And so I think with the smaller gloves, actually gets the guys out of there sooner than when they take a lot more damage.
Repetitive.
Similar to the difference between a boxing glove and an MMA glove. So I think what made the old IBC and all that shows dangerous back in the day was more the pride style with the stomping on the head, boom, because that's gonna fucking throttle some guy's head and fucking stomp on his neck and shit. You know what I mean? Like I fought with those rules actually in Pancrase in Japan. They're pretty nuts. It was crazy feeling of like soccer kicking a dude in the head, like without, you know what I mean? Like in the realm of sports or whatever. Like, but I think that's a lot more dangerous. I think the bare knuckle stuff is actually, I don't know. I think it's an ode to the sport and where the sport came from, and like kind of fucking some human versus human shit they've been doing for a long time. So it's awesome. It's cool to see their first show successful, and then they're doing the second show. I'm fucking honored to be on it, and everyone that knows me and my style is just perfect for me. They're like, fuck, this is literally perfect for you. Your rules and the way I spar, the way I fight. I'm on there sparring with these guys twice a week. Have been for fucking, decades now. So as far as fist fights go, I've been in hundreds, probably in the thousands category. And it's awesome to see a professional platform get behind it and make it an actual sport.
Now, I remember when we were talking to Ken Shamrock, and he was saying that the only reason why they really made the UFC made fighters start wearing gloves was just to protect their hands so they could go on to the next fight. So
yeah, for sure. I can see that concept too. But also, guys fighting in a multiple fight night with bare knuckle. That's kind of, I don't see guys are gonna get busted up and cut and fucking, especially with the cuts and shit. It's gonna kind of
their hands too.
Yeah, I don't see these fights going fucking 3-5s. I know they're all slated like normal MMA rounds, but no fucking way, like our fight, no way this fight's going fucking 3-5s. I doubt it makes it to fucking 2 rounds. You know what I mean?
Speaking of which, I'm not allowed to say his previous nickname. So Charles Bennett, I'm sure you remember him from. He's been around for a long time. Did you have any interactions with him?
Never any personal interactions. I've always known who he was, known his name, just growing up through the circuits, and obviously I was a fan of the sport as well as a fighter, and so I watched all the footage, I watched all the pride stuff, and I always kept an eye on guys that were always in my weight category, and so I've kind of followed his story and everyone else in the featherweight, lightweight divisions, and matchup wise, I think it's perfect. I think he's been in the game a long time, so of course he poses a threat. He's an explosive athlete. He's an explosive fighter. There's always that danger element.
I did look him up, which I rarely do. He's on a 12-fight losing streak. But obviously you don't take anybody lightly. And then, of course, if you lose to a guy who's on a 12-fight losing streak, you be the win for him. You're like, fuck, are you kidding me? Come on.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna let any of that even like play in accounting. It's really just I'm going there to fight. I'm going there to see what the fuck's up. You know what I mean? Honestly, I watched his last couple of fights. It looked like he really didn't want to be there. Like he was just kind of collecting a check and a hopeful win by knockout. I'm going there to see what the fuck's up. You know what I mean? Like I'm down. I'm fucking. I love this dude. I was actually gonna go down and my buddy Boyd runs the Phuket top team. Down in Thailand, and before COVID hit, I was going to go stay down there a month and try to get like a bare knuckle Muay Thai fight in or 2, and that was just like a martial arts bucket list of mine, you know what I mean? But this, and then COVID happened, and they shut their borders and all that shit. But this is even a better opportunity. This is bare knuckle MMA, so for me, it serves me better. So it's even more authentic of a fucking check for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's about
And somebody just asked one of our listeners, and shout out to Mike Harris. And by the way, I tell Gabe this all the time of how much respect I have for your generation, you, him. I'm a big fan of your generation. I grew up watching you guys. You fought in all the major promotions like Tudo, which started in 1983. Obviously, you're a fan of the sport, considering that you fought for all the major promotions and the where, and the who's who. You fought them, been there, done that. So Mike Harris actually asked about your experience on Tough, and maybe you and Gabe can actually talk about follow-up of what your experience was like on Tough.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a surreal experience. The sport definitely wasn't as big of a platform now as it was back then. I think it was the reintroduction of the lightweight division. We had our season, right? And
yeah.
So it was cool. Of course, the sport, the company itself is a lot bigger now. It's a lot more mainstream. But it was cool. It was a crazy experience. They told us like after 3 days, when they took away your phones, your magazines, your TVs, you had no outlet for entertainment. They said, watch, after 3 days, you guys are going to start fucking losing it, getting sick of each other, and everyone's going to get on your nerves. And we've seen 3 days in all the seasons, guys start breaking. And we're like, yeah, right. 3 weeks probably, guys fucking, no, it's 3 days. And sure as shit, after 3 days, everyone started getting on each other's nerves. Melon, Moore, whatever his fucking name was, or was getting bugged. You know what I mean? The guys were just telling the same stories and shit. And you were like, after 3 days, we're like, fuck. We realized like,
need new material.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well,
I realized one major thing was you realize how precious like music was. Like the guys driving the van who sometimes like put their camera down and play music for us, and that alone, when they took that away, just listening to music was like, fuck. It was like such a fucking gift, such a treat, just to hear music driving from the house to the gym. Like you realize how much that stuff means to you once it's taken away.
And what he said, it's a trip. Is like it was about what we've been shooting for about 3 days, and then the two camera guys. Remember, we're in the van. And they're both like looking at each other, and they're like, they cut out the cameras, like, all right, look, guys, if you're cool with it, we'll play music, but you can't tell people shit. And all of us are like, yes. And like, there was a 50 Cent song that was always on the radio, and I loved that song, not because I love 50 Cent, but because it was the one song that I kept hearing over and over and over again. It was like that time from the house to the gym was the only time we could actually listen to music, and it was unbelievable.
For reals.
It wasn't the birthday song, was it?
Was it In the Club? By 50
No,
Cent?
it was. I can't remember which.
It's your birthday.
Like Stand Up or something like that. Get Up or I don't know what song it was.
But it got us amped. It got us in the mood to go train. You know what I mean? It was fucking. You realize how precious music is and how it's such a part of our life.
And you know what? I was telling this Gabe before the show started that I grew up a fan of this. So like when I heard about a TV show that was going to feature the best fighters, like season 1, you had Forrest Griffin who fought Dan Severn, you had Diego Santos from King of the Cage, and you had Bobby Southwood from Pride. I was like, holy shit, this would be awesome. And then they had the Coaches Challenge and like all this reality TV show bullshit. I'm like, oh my god, get to the fights. The best players in the world are here. Stop wasting your time. Like, and I hated the storylines and the stupidness of it, of the producers working like storylines. Like, were you like annoyed, especially like you and Gabe, helped build this sport. Your generation helped build this. Like, were you guys like annoyed by how much the producers were in your face trying to drive storyline and trying to, make like kind of like artificial stuff happen like on the show? Like, was it annoying for you guys?
No, because I understood. I understood the entertainment side of it. Like, this is, I mean, yeah, it's fighting. Like for us, we're the guys that like invest our lives and our souls into this thing. But there's also it's the entertainment industry. You know what I mean? It really is. And like you see how powerful guys that cater to the entertainment side of this sport, how big they can take this thing. You know what I mean? And just some guys that can just have a little bit of skill and they have that it factor, they can blow up. And so you got to cater to both. I understand like there was kind of like a influence narrative they try to push and different things for for ratings. Like there was a list of like whatever you want to get on there, and like some things took a while. But if you put alcohol and shit like this on there, I put a cake in there, it was fucking instantly. because they want you to get all fucked up and like make it TV or whatever.
Oh,
Work.
unbelievable.
They definitely listen. Like they know what they're doing. They don't pick 16 people that are going to get along. They don't pick 16 personalities that are going to meld. They're like, these guys are going to be like water and oil. And if you want to cause chaos, you take people and put them in a position where they're isolated from everything, and you put personalities that are not going to work well together in a house.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you put all alpha males, all bad motherfuckers in the same house with Nate Diaz. That must have been crazy, man.
I think we had like the most authentic characters for sure on that season. I know so many guys did so successful in the UFC afterwards. So yeah, it was awesome. I think it was cool to be part of that. They even said at the time it was one of the best seasons they've done. I think they've still said that. So it was awesome to be part of it.
So compared to other venues or other promotions, how's Gamebred treating you? I mean, you've been to.
This is my first.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so far everything's awesome. This is my first fight with them. So we'll see what happens after this. Like I'm down to do the bare knuckle boxing thing too. So man, yeah, it's crazy. It's just awesome to see this stuff have a following behind it.
Do you have a long-term contract with them, or is it a one fight?
I think this one's just one fight. One fight deal, and we'll see from there. So I already expressed my interest in doing the BKFC as well. I know they have the big show coming out here in Chandler on the 22nd of October. I was hoping to maybe get on that. I didn't get too scratched up, so we'll see what happens.
Right on.
So earlier we were talking about you moved out to the lab, and I know John Crouch real well, and Ben over there. How do you like the transition to that gym? And you seem to have been an integral part of the gym. Like I see you cornering a lot of the guys and helping a lot of the guys over there. How do you like it out there?
Man, it's awesome. It was I think getting out of Orange County, getting out of my comfort zone was the best thing I ever did for myself. And I've done nothing but grow since I relocated to Arizona. And the guys at the lab, it's awesome there. In California, training is so spread out. You got to go one place for your boxing, one place for your kickboxing, one place for your conditioning, one place for your wrestling. And there's no one really to hold you accountable for that. So for a long time, for over a decade, I was running around fucking, missing practices here and there, skipping around, hanging out with girls, going to the beach, just, cutting corners. And out there at the MMA lab, everything's under one roof. Everything's there for you. You can get your conditioning done, your jiu-jitsu, everything. So your bag work, and everyone's a pretty close, tight-knit unit. So for me, the camaraderie there was huge. It was actually exactly what I needed at this stage in my career and how I wanted to, just spend my time with and it was just awesome. It's been awesome. And then our coach at that time ended up leaving, and I kind of was asked to step up and kind of take the reins to see how it would be stepping in the coach's role. And I'm like, well, first all I can do is try it out for a couple of weeks and see how the chemistry is with the guys, and everything worked out beyond expectations, and it's great. I think I speak all the same language of a lot of the guys. I do a lot more pad work now as anything, but I'm also getting a good workout and training. I'm sparring and lifting, and it's a super active lifestyle for me, but man, I have fun doing it. I love it. And it's cool because now I also get to study the psychological side of things, which I'm also finding more fucking passion in than even the physical side. And you hear how mental this game is, and your whole career you've always heard that. And it's not now until I'm 20 years into it. I'm really just figuring out how mental it really fucking is.
Fucking man.
And just to name how much just to say how much respect you. I mean, your career started. I think your first professional fight was in 2002, and it was against Jens Pulver, which was 1 year removed after he won the world title. I mean, you fought the who's who. You fought everywhere. And fighting at this stage of your life and your stage of your career, how were you able to stay in the game and still compete at a top level? You're 40 years old. You fought since the very beginning when the MMA was on its up and coming after the dark days. What do you credit to your longevity in the sport?
There's many things that contribute to that. The full answer for that will be over a lot of people's heads, and but we'll just start with like lifestyle and health choices and nutritional for sure. I'm obsessed with just the concept of immortality and human potential and what we're capable of, right? It's crazy. So the last like 7 years or so, I've been learning about human potential down on an atomic level, a cellular level, on about alchemy, mental alchemy, physical alchemy, and it's mind blowing stuff. And I did the raw food diet for about 4 years, and that was kind of I blended a lot of my fucking foods. I was drinking most of my meals every day, and after that, then I learned about the alkaline diet with Dr. Sebi, and I've been I'm not strict and Nazi about it, but I'm kind of like I try to keep my diet as based on a superfood diet, right? And then have most of those superfoods alkaline, and just try to have your diet based on that. And, of course, cheat here and there, but just be mindful about what you put in your body. And it's crazy. I've been fighting literally for 20 years, but I was a pro now. I've never lost a drop of blood, though, in the ring. No one's ever made me cut or bleed. I had one I slipped a punch, and the punch kind of grazed my ear, and I got some blood, but nothing facial. I had like a black eye or fat lip, but nothing. So, and I've never been KO'd in my life or anything like that. So my brain health is fine, and my body's fine. And I don't know. Again, it's more mental, not just this game, but life itself is more mental than physical. And when you start figuring that out and applying it, it changes the reality and it changes the physical.
So I heard you mention BKFC. Are you kind of thinking that you'd enjoy that stand-up game? And if so, who do you think you'd be matched up against your first fight, or who would you like to be matched up against?
Fuck, man, I don't know. There's a lot of new guys that are signing, man, and it's exciting. There's a lot of guys that are getting behind it. I mean, it was crazy. I saw that Diego Sanchez just signed, Chad Mendes, a lot of big names from the UFC. So it's awesome to see these guys sign up with them. I'd have to look at the bracket to see what division I'd fight at down there. This fight coming up is at 145. We'll see how this cut and everything goes. Right now I'm ahead of schedule. So, but I'm even willing to fight at 155 over there. So, man, I'm down for this. I think it's awesome. I'm fucking excited. There's a platform to do this. And like I said, it's I don't know. There's not for everyone. There's only certain fighters, certain mentalities that are willing to do this, and I think it's awesome. I think it's cool to see the sport blowing up as fast as it is, and have the support. It really is the fastest growing sport. It's passing up MMA as far as how fast in a short amount of time that is blowing up.
And it has a good business plan behind it too, because the UKFC, they win slow and steady wins a race. They can get one pay-per-view subscriber, one buyer. They're not relying on pay-per-view. They're completely relying on their app and building out their app. So if they can get 10, 20, 30 people buying that app, it's a win. So I like the business strategy. I think Dave Feldman's a very smart guy when it comes to that, building up that app, building a subscriber base.
Yeah, for sure. That's huge.
Yeah, and I think even Diego Sanchez is going to be fighting on your weight class. So that's interesting. That would be an interesting between you and Diego Sanchez.
I mean, I'm down to fight any of these guys. Really, I'm down to fight.
Of course you are.
Me and Diego are boys. We did one of BJ's camps that last fight camp when he fought Clay Guida together. And I've known Diego for a long time. I don't know if that's a fight he really wants. I don't know. Everyone that's been in the fight with me knows they're going to be in a fight. Like, I'm down to trade and fucking knuckle up and see what happens. Like, I'm not trying to take no one down. I'm trying to fucking see what's up. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Even the decisions I've lost, their faces are all fucking busted up, or their eyes swollen shut, or ragging up, because they just fucking held me down and shit. Like, I've always fought with that style. I've always, I've done thousands and thousands of sparring rounds with that style against some fucking killers, dude. And man, it's it's awesome. I'm excited.
So how do you think you stack up against Felony? How do you think that fight's going to go, in your opinion?
I for sure don't think it's going to last the length of 2 rounds. I don't think it's going to last. I think with both of our fighting styles, there's no way that the bodies are going to break. Blood is going to spill. Bodies are going to break, and we're going to see who fucking does it first. And I know he's an explosive athlete. not predictable. She's very unpredictable and very dangerous. But I mean, it's going to be more of a fight. It's not going to be like an MMA style, stylistic, drawn out fucking. It's going to be more of just a lot of explosions, a lot of pot shots. He's going to look to try to finish it 1-2 shots, and man, I don't know. I think a lot of instinct comes in as well, as far as reading the body, reading the frame, and all that stuff. And it's awesome. I don't know. There's an element there that I don't know. It's primal. It's primal. I just need one of these fucking things. Like, I know how fucking hard I hit. All my sparring partners know how hard I hit. I see the damage I do when I spar. And fuck, dude. I just need these things to fucking touch you. That's it. You know what I mean? So let's fucking go.
So
he's also.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Frank.
I know. I was just going to say, back to just bare knuckle boxing in general. Have you thought about any of the other promotions that are coming up? I mean, we got BYB, as well as I know Valor with Ken Shamrock's about to launch again. Are those options for you too, or are you thinking kind of just staying with UKFC?
I mean, I'm down for whatever. Honestly, I'm down for anything. I know right now I'm signed with First Round Management with Dave Arbello and those guys over there. So I want to right now I'm the platform's here for this. And honestly, like I said, it was a serious major bucket list thing for me. And I was really gonna go down to Thailand, stay for a month, and do one of the bare knuckle Thai fights. It's not a couple, and that's something I've wanted to do from fucking watching Bloodsport, 20-something years ago, and getting all hyped on fucking. And so with me, it's a personal thing. This is, you know what I mean. So I'm glad that this is the platform right now. We'll see what happens after this. But like I said, I know I take this thing day by day, and right now it's awesome just to see that there's different platforms popping up and doing well and doing successful, outside of the major ones.
Are you thinking about switching back and forth from MMA to bare knuckle, or are you planning on staying to bare knuckle till
Yeah, I can do both. I'm down to do both. I'm down to do whatever. There are fucking no limits to what I can do. No limits to what any of us fucking can do. Literally, I think when you set your mind to something, it's the most fucking powerful thing we have in this life, for sure. And I'm still fucking sparring. We do fucking 8 to 12 rounds, fucking twice a week with these guys, day in, day out, week after week, month after month, year after year. So the fight's just to kind of get you know what I mean? That's just that's extra. Like, fucking, I'll be doing this whether we're fighting or not. Yeah, I'm down to see fucking, even damage-wise, I would love to fucking get back in there on the October 22nd card for the UKFC if I don't come too scratched up out of this one. I know it's pretty close back-to-back. I think these guys just rescheduled it for October 2nd because of the hurricane and all that.
Yeah.
And, even then, we don't know. Hopefully it lands on that date, and maybe hopefully they don't have to relocate or anything. But, yeah, we'll be getting ready.
Does preparation for bare knuckle MMA change the dynamic of your training? You have to do anything differently because you're like getting ready for bare knuckle, you're just wearing the gloves and you're like, when it comes time, I'm taking them off and doing the same shit.
I'm changing a little bit, little things. I'm hitting the mitts with wraps and tape now, so I'm getting used to just keeping my knuckles aligned from my elbow to my wrist. Make it more like a battering ram. And I'm hitting the bag. We got a really heavy, solid bag. I'm hitting too, just to condition my wrist and my knuckles and all that. And doing a lot of push-ups and but yeah, I even still I'll do a lot of pad work with just that MMA gloves with the guys, anyways. I know there's a big difference there when you're constantly hitting the mitts with 14-ounce gloves or whatever, 12-ounce gloves, and then you go right to fighting with the little MMA gloves. There's a difference. There's the same difference of like practicing with a softball, right, all season, and then going out to go perform at a baseball game. You know what I mean? It's a slight difference, but it is a difference. And fighting is a game of micro movements. And so we have to hold ourselves accountable for these micro movements. And I like the idea of hitting the mitts with the NBA gloves, and I like it even better with hitting with just the wraps and the tape. You know what I mean? So enough where I don't stuff my knuckles up, but I have to hold myself accountable for closing the distance and being at the very right measurement for my knuckles to hit the target. Right.
And I see a lot of MMA fighters and I see a lot of veterans who are making the switch to boxing, to bare knuckle boxing. And some of them, or majority of them, are having trouble. And I don't know what to equate it to. Where Tyron Woodley just fought like Jake Paul, and obviously he was a wrestler and his base was wrestling. And he was able to get a lot of his KOs because people stayed out of the pocket to avoid getting taken down. And how long did it take? And this is a twofold question. How long did it take to rewire your brain, get ready, and rewire your training, get ready for a boxing, bare knuckle boxing style ring, and also becoming a bare knuckle boxer? And two, your community, the MMA fighters. How come you feel, in your personal and professional opinion, feel like they're having struggles adapting to boxing, adapting to bare knuckle?
I think it's the style of it. I think a lot of MMA fighters like to think they're like gunslingers, but a lot of them they like to wrestle and ground and pound, and they've gotten by in their careers kind of fighting safe. You know what I mean? There's very few guys that are fucking down in the trade and be like, let's see, let's just fucking test our metal, and there's a different rhythm that they got to respect it. There's a lot of, precision beats volume in the bare knuckle combat. You know what I mean? With the MMA gloves, you can get away being a high volume fighter in a lot of ways, but you have to actually cut and do damage. And with the bare knuckleness, there's a finer element there. And I think guys that have been in street fights and guys that have that hard nose in the pocket fighting style, fare well.
So you feel like bare knuckles, it's way more up your alley. Let's be honest. I've sparred with you. I've seen you fight. I've known you for years. You want to get in there and you want to be on the feet and you want to throw down. So would you feel like this is more like up your alley? This is Emerson's go-to.
1,000%. And all my sparring partners that know me, anyone that's ever known me, been in the gym with me, they know that's exactly my style and like what I'm down for. So for me, it's perfect. I'm very excited to be part of it. I think it's gonna fucking blow up. I think I can fucking put on some very exciting performances over there and fucking let's blow this thing the fuck up. Let's see how big we can get, how many people we can get behind it.
Now, let me ask you this actually, because the bare knuckle MMA. Do you feel like there might be more wrestling involved because people don't want to break their hands? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, I can definitely see guys wanting to wrestle more and they put guys on their back, and I think a lot of strikes are more dangerous too from that position as well. Things where you can like cover up and roll and normally block with the glove might get through and do some damage with the knuckle. So yeah, there's that whole element there as well. For sure, I think guys are gonna mind both depending on who they fight and where this sport goes. Right now, this is only the second MMA bare knuckle show they've done, with the comeback of the sport and everything. So it's awesome, though. I think like I said, it's as authentic as it gets. I have the only undefeated gladiator champion of ancient Rome tattooed on the top of my head right here.
Holy shit, that's a serious tattoo, my friend.
He earned his freedom, right? He was undefeated in the gladiator arena. And he earned his freedom doing this. So something happens to the human being when we overcome fear. When we're put in a situation of fight or flight, something happens to us genetically as well as consciously. And so that's what I'm about. That's what all these ancient mystery schools were built upon in ancient Egypt and all these secret societies. We won't get into all that. But just know that something special happens to the human being when they're put in a state of fight or flight. And the bare knuckle MMA platform is a perfect position. It's like a gladiatorial arena, right? It's like the Coliseum, like a modern day one, but both guys get a walk away. But this is what I'm about. This is what I'm dedicated. I'm obsessed with learning about this kind of knowledge and what exactly we're capable of. And for me, Gamebred gives me the best platform to access this. So I'm about it more so than anyone can understand.
As an MMA pioneer. Oh, I'm sorry for interrupting.
I was just going to ask you. You've been in a lot of fights, man. What's been like the most memorable fight that stands out as far as your best performance? You feel?
My favorite performance was my first fight I had in ACB or ACA now over in Nottingham, England. I think it was ACA 87. But yeah, it was just a tremendous thing I had to overcome with my weight cut bag not getting delivered in my pharmacy. I had to literally put a trash bag on and cut 19 fucking pounds, not 19 pounds in a 24-hour period with just a trash bag and a treadmill, and made it. And yeah, it's crazy. I made that cut from like 173 to 135, and I did it in just a few weeks. And fucking, I still had to fight 3 5-minute rounds. and I still fought 3 5-minute rounds against a fucking killer, and it was one of my best performances. I won a unanimous decision. I would say that, and the Manny Gambirini knockout in 12 seconds was a good time. So I would say both of those.
So here's a question, and I got to ask this, because I grew up about this talking to Mr. Gabe. I mean, and Mr. Gabe is an MMA pioneer, and I'm a pioneer of MMA. I'm a fan of MMA pioneers, so I've grown about this too. But like the current demographic of how they're aiming for flash and flare, they're in the TikTok stars and celebrities, and naturally, I would love for you to kill one of these TikTokers and everything like that. But what do you feel about like the MMA demographic, the fight demographic, while they're kind of going towards shortcuts of bringing in TikTokers and social media influencers, and they're all about flash and flare and entertainment? Like, as an MMA pioneer, how do you feel about what they're trying to cater towards?
I know now we're coming back to the whole entertainment versus the authentic sports side of it, and that's crazy. It's unfortunate to see what I believe is foul play in some of these sports, and I think it degrades why we have sports in the first place. You know what I mean? I think it's a very, very dangerous thing, and I think it's a very dangerous thing. And sports is something that crosses all nations. The one thing that holds us together as a species. And I think tampering with it is a very serious thing, and yeah, I think there's no hiding. There's definitely no fucking hiding in bare knuckle sports, bare knuckle boxing or bare knuckle. There's no fucking hiding. There's no phoniness here. And even MMA, you know what I mean? Fucking let these guys get in there, some fucking MMA guys with those little gloves, and we'll see them fucking how well they can do. Because anyone can put on boxing gloves and flail a couple punches like this. You can block and check, and it looks like they're getting through to the untrained eye. It looks like, ooh, oh wow, he's throwing, but it's just his fucking wrist or his knuckle hitting a guard. There's no knuckles hitting skull. You know what I mean? There's no damage being done. Like, I don't know, and so it's crazy, and we've all, Floyd Mayweather has done a few exhibition bouts in his career, and so we know, like, it's always been part of boxing's tale. You can't really hide that kind of shit though in MMA, I feel. You know what I mean? So, man, let these guys put on a pair of MMA gloves and get in there with MMA rules, and we'll see what happens.
Never gonna happen.
Whether when
never gonna happen.
Went to ride.
No. Entertainment is entertainment, and I think those that are in the entertainment realm don't want real shit. They like the reality of it. They don't want real shit. They want they want to keep it in the realm of entertainment. And it's just how many douchebags do you know that their Instagram is about fighting and I can't wait to get in there, and then they're not training. They don't, and they'll never take a fight outside of an amateur fight. They're telling everyone that they can that they're getting ready to fight in the UFC, but they don't really want to do it because they don't want to do the real shit that's necessary to get there. And that's the entertainment side of it. And of course, and I think maybe you'll agree with this, maybe you won't, but I kind of like the dark ages of MMA. I like when people didn't know what you did and you could potentially go to jail for fighting in an illegal fight. And, you didn't make a lot of money, but that wasn't why you were fighting. You were fighting to make money. You weren't fighting because, you wanted to put something out and pretend to be something that you were. You either fought or you didn't. You know what I mean? Like, and those, the core group of guys that were fighting were doing it for a different reason than fame, notoriety, money, whatever the bullshit entertainment side that's part of it now.
Exactly. And I tell everyone that, I do back in the day, there was no amateur league, right? It was like you fought, you got paid, you were considered a pro, and so, man, that was it. Like I said, my first pro fight was against the UFC champion. He just fucking won the first ever lightweight UFC champion. And then fucking, I had my first closed-fisted gloved fight. I had a couple of pancrase fights before that, and then it was, so it was a different era then. Now a lot of the guys like boxing can build up their career, build their confidence, build their skills in the minor leagues or whatever, and then jump on the pro platform. And it's just crazy. There's a lot of guys that want to be in this sport and have the glory of it for sure, especially with the social media platforms. And so guys, I don't know, but I think those guys get weeded out soon. I think especially if they're in a tough gym, I said we have like a really severe, not severe, but a strict like screening process on who we let in that room. You know what I mean? And we carefully protect who we let on the floor with the pros because we don't want them getting hurt. We don't want them, hurting themselves too and hurting someone else. You know, that's when most injuries happen, or some guys that are in a place where they're not supposed to be. And but having those rounds with your other fucking teammates that are killers, that are top 10 fighters, that are champions, you know what I mean? So fucking, I'm out there doing rounds with Kyler Phillips, with Jared Cannon, or Benson Henderson, fucking, you know what I mean? Mario Bautista, all these guys are top ranked guys, and you know, it's awesome. Those are the rounds that give you confidence when you step in the ring. You know what I mean? When you're walking out to the arena, when you're warming up, you're thinking about all the rounds you've done this camp, and and prior to, and that's what gives you the real confidence when you step in the arena that night.
And you were the guys, and just to interject, you, Gabe, all those guys, and especially like watching the Dark Days. I love the Dark Days the most because, you know, it was ordering a big box of cakes, putting it in, and watching. You guys were like my superheroes, you know, just putting in and seeing these wild fucking fights happening all over the country that would never air on television. Or, you know, when the UFC was coming up and Pride was coming up in '98 and stuff. Besides that, you weren't able to see these great regional fights like King of the Cage and Gladiator Challenge and all these different promotions, and Deep from Japan, which you fought in Deep. And you know, it was such a different, beautiful era. And like, you guys, again, are my superheroes. And, you know, it's so awesome to see one of the pioneers and one of the veterans. And obviously, like I talk about this Gabe all the time, where Gabe, I think it's one of the best moguls on the planet for what he had to go through. But, you know, seeing a pioneer like you who broke his back for the sport, trying to, you know, get to the next level where amateurs could take amateur fights and like MMA would grow. And you being a part of that elite group that helped build the sport, you know, it's so cool to see one of these pioneers still doing it, still going at it, and still, you know, sharing his knowledge with other people, but also being in the ring still at age 40 when he started so early in the game. It's so cool to see. But I'll let you go. And we'll obviously, time is precious for you. So is there any place where you can shout out your social media, we'll shout out your sponsors, and where we can see you fight next?
Yeah, so you guys can follow me on my Instagram at Ascended Athletics, Ascended_Athletics. And then I have a podcast and another Instagram, Ascended Arts, where I talk about alchemy and hermetics and all this other stuff I've been studying the last 7 years, and how applicable it is on a psychological level to sports and to combat, but just life in general. And I guess the BKFC.tv platform is for the fights. And that's it. I post a lot of stuff in my stories. And stay tuned, guys. I'm super excited to get out there and perform for everybody. And let's blow this bare knuckle thing up.
Fuck yeah.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
I got a question for you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you happy?
I'm always happy. I'm ecstatic.
Good.
Ecstatic.
Fuck yeah.
It's important. It's good.
Ecstatic. Fuck it.
Right.
Always.
My man.
If you're happy, we're happy.
Guys.
Thanks for coming out, man.
All right,
Right on. Good for you guys. Right on. See you.
Bye-bye. Gabe's final question.
I
think it's an important one. I think we need.
I know you don't have
to know how people are. I mean, it's important if they're happy or not.
I don't think people ask it enough.
I think it's important. You know, we go through our lives and we get asked all these questions about fighting. We get asked about this. We get asked about training. But are you happy? I think that's an important question to answer. You know.
Fuck yeah. And it's so cool to see him still competing, because obviously your injuries are well known, and you went for the next best thing where you open up a gym to teach the next inspiring MMA fighter. But to see him happy, healthy, and still competing and still doing what he loves and what you guys are extremely exceptional at and good at, you know, it's so cool to see like a pioneer still going at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. And I think you're going to see as he's in transition more and more into the coaching realm. The people around him are fortunate to have him a veteran, a guy that's still in there doing it as a coaching prospect. He's already a coach, but I think that will be the inevitable transition no matter what.
Speaking of coaching, by the way, I saw you sparring. You don't look like a day over 35, sir. Where can we find you sparring, sir?
That would be Kaiju-MMA, and you can find that on the old Instagram at Kaiju MMA, or even the book of face at Kaiju MMA and Fitness. Yeah, it's rare that I get to have footage of myself because I'm either teaching the class or I'm not cognitive of anybody filming. But it just so happened that someone was filming, like, hey, would you get a couple rounds with me there? I get some other footage in there too, but I didn't post it. But it's fun. It's fun to get in there and have the young guys beat me up a little bit.
Still haven't missed a step, sir. Just fucking say you're still as terrifying as you were, man. I'm so excited. I'm getting excited talking about it, but holy shit,
fun.
man.
It's fun. You know what? That side of you, I don't think ever leaves. You know, you still want to get obviously there are days that I don't want to train. There are days that I'd rather, read a book at the beach, but I still love it. I love every part of it. I love, if someone's trying to kill me, that's when I feel alive.
You're the fucking man, Gabe. So we're going to wrap this up with Christmas present. Gabe's going to take his daughter to Universal, being
that's right.
He is and that he is. So any final words, any final thoughts, Mr. Gabe?
Nope. It was just let's stay more consistent with this podcast, gentlemen. We had a little hiatus, which isn't a bad thing, but I know we're at number 7. I want to get that closer to that 5, 4, 3, 2, close to that 1 point. That's my aspiration for this.
And same here. Any final thoughts, Mr. Matt?
Yeah. Drink some drinker.
Delicious.
And smoke some gin.
Good stuff.
Yeah, all right, boys and girls. Obviously, there's another show coming up after this, so tune in for Brenno's Most Wanted. Mr. Gabe, as always, it's a pleasure for you coming on. Thank you, Rob Emerson, for coming on the show. Bros and hoes in all different area codes with swollen lymph nodes and tiny toes. It was a long time since I did that. Thank you very much for joining us for the Fight Mixer. We'll see you next Sunday. Peace.
Wow con Dios.
Perfect.